Hello. So it's actually 5:55 on the clock, and a loud motor just went by. I wasn't sure when I was going to record this particular transmission. It's going to be Hierogamic Union template tap-in. But I just uploaded to YouTube a transmission inner planes overhaul. And at the very end of that transmission, I was flashed simultaneously one number on the clock, 343, and a number on the timer, 323. And anytime I see 23 and 43 come in at the same time, for me that's like a inner union Hierogamic template timestamp, if you will. Yeah, so I had been taking 111 on the timer, multiple notes that have been coming in the last few days. And interestingly, of course, fives can represent fast, swift changes, overcoming conflicts, etc. Something really significant, though. You may be picking, well, I'll say this. I've been picking up on, tasting certain things, and I kind of touched on this in the last transmission. You might taste something, and then you find out later someone you were talking to was eating that thing. That's just an example. I forget the proper name for it. Claire something. There is a name to describe it, and for some reason I can't remember it. But yeah. Also, there was something coming through a recent transmission about a slow drip, a slow leak. And a layer of information came through this other transmission about that, but then something else came in, basically about it's sort of like the same energy as a slow burn. So something that's a slow burn, it may feel like it's really slow. But right now you may be really picking up on this. So whether it's from a person, a place, a thing, however it comes for you. Now, there is a very specific sort of relationship dynamic that feels like it's being highlighted, but I always invite however things come through for you to apply it how it does, because energy is multifaceted. Even getting out these words, I feel like I've been speaking so slowly and the energy feels really slow, and I just saw 343 on the timer. So yeah, there is, again, something about this timestamp or marking or imprint that feels really significant. And okay, a few things. The other day I was I closed my eyes for a second and I had a flash of a very big pencil. Oh, actually, it's so funny how this happens. I completely forgot about a memory that just came in related to a large pencil. I don't remember what they're called, but they're specific type of pencils that are wider, and they're a wide point and they're thicker. You may hear my voice. It's just every time I've been trying to record lately, or most times. But we're going to keep going. Anyway, so I was flashed an image of this pencil, and I actually do have pencils that are pretty thick. I don't use them that often, but I got them on a whim years ago, and I still have quite a few of them left. Anyway, so quite a while ago, I gifted someone one of the pencils with a few other things because I feel like they have a lot of like inner creativity that they don't always use. I've had dreams about it actually, like all these things are coming through. So I'm going to use like masculine and feminine just to describe the energy, but again, please take it how it fits. And I'm not necessarily referring to sex. Well, I'm not referring to sex, but energy, of course. Okay, so I had this dream years ago that the masculine collective was opening the trunk of a car. And I don't know, when I think of a trunk of a car, you think of like a basement, right? Like the subconscious things that are like, maybe things can get easily like lost in a trunk, not found, or it's like a storage thing, you know? Anyway, so they went to open the trunk, and it was so interesting because this was like so long ago. I could see this, the feminine could see the masculine through the trunk. Like, it was almost like the trunk was this portal, and then you could see the masculine's face. And somehow the feminine was like a bit omnipresent and like observing this masculine. And the masculine couldn't necessarily see the feminine. Anyway, so when the trunk was open, the feminine presence had left like all of these like markers and color pencils and just like artistic tools in the trunk. And the masculine kind of like looked through it as if like it wasn't there, but then like it caught their attention. Anyway, I had forgotten about that. And when I gave this, we'll use masculine energy, a pencil with a few other tools to like enhance creativity. It was like a little gift sack that I gave them. And it was funny because when they received this little thing, it was just, you know, something I intuitively felt to do. I put it in a bag that I had gotten from a bathing suit store. It was a really cool bag, actually, and they were more excited about the bag than what was inside the bag. But who knows if they ever used what the bag was. It reminds me of like a baby or an animal, you know, like you give them like something like a present and like all they want is like the wrapping paper or the box. I don't know why that's coming through. Anyway, so back to the vision of this pencil. There's also something significant. Oh my gosh. And there's the time on the clock that I'm looking at right now, I didn't even realize, is very significant to this masculine collective. So like you could be seeing like birthday numbers, apartment numbers, things of that nature. Okay. Now, I wanted to see if someone wants to look up like a spiritual meaning of a pencil, feel free, and then you can put it in the comments. I'm sure there's many perspectives, but something that I'm not looking it up, I was going to, but something that I'm getting, and do you feel like the energy's picking up? At first I was like, oh, this is going so slow. Maybe I should like do this later, but boom, now here we are. The pencil can be erased, right? And it's often used to like, I don't know, like when construction's been coming up a lot lately. The last transmission that I posted was talking about construction. So like when people are doing crafts or, you know, hanging something on a wall, like they often use a pencil as a marking, as the, right? It's like that phrase is coming up again as like a marking point to see like where they want to hang something. So that feels significant as well. It's like this pencil, it's like a temporary marking to set up for a more long-term thing. Also, I've been having dreams about sketching. So I've talked about that in recent transmission. I'm not going to go into the details of that specific dream about sketching, but sketching could be really significant in many ways. I don't feel the need to go into that at the moment, but we'll see if it sort of weaves in. I was just shown tater tots and alligators. I'm also being showed like Creole. I feel like I said that so weird. Creole. Like alligator nuggets, chicken nuggets. Interesting. I've also been hearing a horse outside when I have my balcony door open. This horse has been like neighing, and there's a lot of course, are we still in the year of the fire horse? I think so. Liberation, freedom. Also, there's really something significant about unicorns that have been coming in. There's a transmission of the unicorn constellation, Monoceros, that I posted like months ago. There could be messages in there, but there's something about the evolution into the etheric template of the unicorn. The horn, the color white has been so significant, and white horses, white unicorns, rarity, purity. These are just some of the essence coming through this energetic strand. Okay, so then yesterday, within the last day or two, I saw an image of a ring, of like a, like the classic engagement diamond ring. And I had a vision of a ring in 2022. Like this one that I saw the other day, it wasn't as like profound or clear as this other vision in 2022. The one in 2022 was like my eyes were closed and I was just shown a box and it opened with like a sparkling ring. But it felt it was shown in like ultraviolet light, which to me was like, still very much in the subtle realms. But the one I saw yesterday or the day before was in a tile outside. So it was like grounded in the earth. So something feels like that's been what I like to call quantum seeding. It's been seeding through the quantum that's like becoming more physicalized. So rings, diamonds, God, the symbolism can go on and on. There's so much symbolism there, of course, but this could be literal for some of you, like some sort of commitment. I'm seeing one of the oracle cards from the Romance Angel deck. Your love life is ascending to a higher commitment. So this could have to do with love. It could have to do with business, multiple things. But after I saw the ring the other day or yesterday, it was next to the number 3, which the Empress has been coming through very strongly. That feminine magnetism. Then after that, I shit you not, there were so many references to rings after that. Like almost everything I turned on, whether it was a show, another reading, like an oracle card that was like, on a quick short, like just like ring, 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 ring. And I was just like, oh my. So that was coming through really strongly for someone. Well, for the collective, I should say. And like I said, please take it, whether it's literal, symbolism, how it works for you. Also, there's something about patterns and recognizing patterns, loops, breaking loops. I don't really love the word breaking, but transcending loops. I remember a friend of mine who I was speaking to yesterday. She told me like a while ago that she kept some sort of like journal or something, and she had realized that like, I think to the day, like a year, she doesn't do it all the time, but she like, something told her to look back, and like she had ran into like the same people, like multiple time frames in a row. I don't know if it was like 1 year, 2 year. And then not only was she running into the same people, there were like specific things were happening like around the same time of the year, the same day on this like cycle. And I've noticed that too as well throughout other experiences, but there could be something like that that's really significant. Like you could notice something of that nature, and it happened yesterday or the day before. No, within the last few days. Linear time lately has been just, woo. I feel like I always say that, but where I remember, this is so specific, but in 2021, it was 2021 or 2022, I was doing a fast. I think I lasted like 2.5 days. And like right as I broke the fast, we'll say the masculine collective energetically sent, there was like a contact or whatever you want to call it. And then when I did I was feeling called to do a fast, and I talked about that a little bit this week in different transmissions. The same thing happened. I got about up to the 2-day mark, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to break my fast. And then within like the time frame, I don't remember, a few hours, I got a message. So there's something really significant about that. And the like feminine polarity, doing some sort of purification and then bringing in something, magnetizing something, some sort of purification, like whatever that is for you, you know. Also just like noticing themes, like I said, cycles, patterns. I keep catching the timer on zeros. So zeros, the Fool in tarot, Aquarius energy. Yeah, I just keep getting the word like ascending. So I have been talking about doing a pink water plasma live transmission for like a month now, and I just, for some reason, it has not felt like the right time. I just heard birds squawking. But I wanted to just touch on it because there was a really significant astral experience that I've spoken about before that I've had, and it keeps kind of like coming back around. So if that's interesting to you, and also the constellation of the Pleiades is very imprinted in the pink water, and also other celestial signatures that come through pink water. So I'll talk more about that on the live when I finally do that. I'm hoping this week. So yeah, you can look out for that if you are interested. 1707 on the timer. I wrote down something significant about the right ovary. When I ovulate, I can feel, I just felt the left one. Some of you may have middle schmerz, if you know what that is, or you know someone with it, or you've experienced it, because it doesn't always stay. But there was something really significant about like ovaries. Take that how you will, if at all. You could be hearing like a lot of slow songs, or like specifically slow love songs. Like they have been popping up pretty synchronistically. I also heard country for some of you. Country songs. So ovaries symbolically, spiritually, can be considered the, quote, seat of creation, embodying raw creative power, feminine energy, and the ability to manifest. They represent the balance between action, right, and being, receiving, left, embodying fertility not only for life, but for ideas, projects, and nurturing one's life force. Interesting, because I was talking about Ojas or Ojas today on the other YouTube transmission, so there could be messages in there as well if you feel connected to that, if you haven't already listened to it. But so much of this inner union experience, or the Hierogamic template, has to do just with that, right? Like balancing the right and left hemispheres, the duality integration. And sometimes that can look like almost living more dualistically and like being like a walking contradiction. So you could be experiencing that. And I heard someone talking about this today, actually, which I've talked about it quite a bit. Dolphins could be significant. I just got a flash of dolphins. Diamond templates. I'm hearing the diamond template, double diamond template. Double dare, double diamond DNA. The letter D could be significant, or double D's. Double D, 1616 on the clock. I just heard Dua. It's like a different language. Dua, something like that. Or the name Dua Lipa could be significant. She's Albanian. Albania could be significant. I'm in the Balkans, actually, so yeah. Okay, what else is coming through? I just saw someone like squeezing a lemon, and I heard a squeegee. What is a squeegee? You clean with a squeegee, I think. Right? Squeegee? I hope that's the right word. Little light. Oh, I meant to say little white flowers, but little light. A little light. I just like dropped my phone. I feel like I'm getting really nervous all of a sudden, or like not overly, but just excited, or like I'm also seeing hot potato. Hot potato. That was a game. That's a game, right? Hot potato. I'm not sure why that's significant, but yeah, there also seems to be, I'm seeing the Temperance card in tarot, like a tempering of maybe some sort of like something that may come in like a hot potato and then drops, like hot and cold. There could be a balancing of that. Also, I was talking about the masculine kind of stifle, but now, please, again, it could be internal, someone external, however it fits for you, but both, but like the not seeing the inner creativity, and then the ovaries coming through about the seed of creation. Yeah, so it feels like there's this rising of passion, creativity, which has been coming through in spurts over the last however long. But again, it's like the Ouroboros, like the snake eating its tail. There's some sort of like cycle that has completed, and now there is zeros coming through again, or it's completing itself. Specifically, I was hearing, does anyone remember the song from SWV, Weak in the Knees? I was hearing that song, and classic, I'll Make Love to You from Boyz II Men. I don't know why that just kept playing in my head last night as I was trying to go to sleep. And I haven't heard it recently or anything, but yeah. My right ear just felt like it was being tickled. Also, words like tender, care, body care, slow mornings, things like that could be really relevant for you right now. Like, speaking of that slow leak, it feels like it's or slow drip. It's like a slow drip. It also feels like it's in the feminine energy of like really reattuning to your own inner rhythms. I was just shown a crow, and I heard something bang as I said that. I also stumbled upon today a dead fly, and I don't know why that's coming through right now, but my right palm just started to like tingle or have like what I call a pinch pulse as I said that as well. I looked it up just to see what wanted to come through at this moment. Right palm tingling can symbolize an active flow of energy representing the giving hand in spiritual contexts, suggesting you are receiving energy healing, undergoing a spiritual awakening, or being called to take action on new opportunities. It can also indicate a need to share your gifts or that an energetic shift is approaching. Ew. Yeah, so any of those things could apply. And in a recent overflow on Patreon, there was this sort of frequency coming through of like something shadowy or unseen, hidden, like an innate gift, talent, ability, etc. is coming. It's like emerging. So also the emanations of Tara have been coming through, white Tara, blue Tara, green Tara, specifically white and blue, but I just felt green come in. So yeah, especially if you are like working with some kind of energetics, energy healing, something of that nature, it feels very potent right now. There was something also that I was speaking about in the last YouTube transmission, Inner Planes Overhaul. And right after I posted an article from Maya Nartumid, who I I reference quite a bit, released an article, a new one, about protection and care for the light body. And it was so interesting because I was talking about in the YouTube portion that I just referenced, that I uploaded, about chicken wire and what I call a sheath in the energy field. And often it always comes through as a sheath release, like releasing some sort of like layer, something that we maybe needed at some point to protect us or guard or keep it safe while there was inner construction going on, if you will, inner planes, revamping, rewiring, etc. But of course, protection is so potent, especially for those of us tuned into something like the Hierogamic templates, sensitive to energetics, tapped into like the pulse of the Schumann is another transmission that I just recorded. And there's something about like just, anyone who's working with the unseen, if you will. Really just anyone who feels drawn to understanding their multidimensionality. Or taking care of themselves on many layers or multiple layers. Even if it's just like, not just, but even if it's the physical body focus, like there's still something about how this applies. Anyway, so I often feel like a lot of these, quote, awakenings or whatever you want to call them, awareness is a lot of shedding, shedding protective mechanisms that we've put in place physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. And so when this article was released, I was really drawn to look at it because I was going to save it for an overflow on Patreon, but I actually feel like it's coming through more strongly right now. So I'm going to trust that. But I just wanted to read a little bit from her article because it was so, in my opinion, beautifully expressed. It was literally at the top of my feed when I went to go look it up again. So, and the first visual, I was talking about like ultraviolet light earlier, and that is in one of the first visuals. But so her article name is Care, Feeding, and Protection of the Light Body, and I will put this in the description box if you would like to reference it. So she writes, the light body, which surrounds us and reflects as the aura, emanates from the deepest core of our being and is our innate warning system and mechanism of protection when utilized with wisdom. This radiant energy field is formed of our spirit body, emanating the total spectrum of our vibrations, spiritual advancement, and health. In its highest manifestation, protection does not come from building walls. True protection arises from accepting the reality that we are unbounded, multidimensional beings of light. When we embrace and activate our individual Christ consciousness, we are inherently protected without drawing ourselves into a spiritual, emotional, or physical cage. You could also be seeing like birdcage symbolism. I was talking about the horse and freedom, or just like things that symbolize breaking free from something. Keys, like old-fashioned keys and locks, that sort of thing, or just really any keys, but I was getting specifically like old-fashioned keys in like turning locks, like a lock breaking, especially like, those high school lockers, I forget what they're called, like the metal locks, things like this could be coming through. Then it goes on to say, when you encounter intrusive or retrograde energies, the fundamental teaching is to avoid rallying oppositional power against those forces. If you respond with reactive, negative feelings such as fear or anger, you inadvertently cause those unwanted vibrations to penetrate more deeply into your light field. Instead, become transparent to these energies, allowing them to pass harmlessly through your emotional body. As you move through the world, you can establish an intention to protect a heart-centered ray of unconditional love into the wake of your forward progress, allowing it to envelop any energy that enters your space. By loving the deed to death and releasing all judgment, you dissolve the potency of the intrusion. Okay, so some of the wording here, I probably would not 100%, the idea of like zero judgment and things like that. Like, we're still human, and sometimes discernment and judgment, there's a fine line. So I always take these things with a grain of salt, and there's the word finesse is coming through for some reason. And yeah, but I did love the overall message here and the idea of like transparency and allowing things to pass through. Now, that is not suggesting to, of course, repress and suppress, which there is a slight difference, I believe, in those two meanings of holding things in, or but this idea of understanding how we can become reactive, or when we are reactive, and adding awareness to that so that we're not always just in a reactive mode, Also, I've been setting these, speaking of setting intentions, I've been setting these intentions, and I feel like there's a speeding up process of intentions coming in for some of us. So you may be experiencing that. You may have been experiencing that for a long time, but I feel like there's another wave of this. So it has been coming in for me also for quite a long time. But again, there's like this fresh wave of that. And here in Montenegro, I just ran out of euro, and I have some US dollars, a few US dollars I just wanted to exchange. But it's in the exchange place is in like the nearest town, which is like a 40-minute walk. And it just like hasn't felt like the right time. I set the intention, like, I'm going to do this. And I met a few people, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go with them if they want to go. I didn't even say anything to them in specific. And then as I set this intention, like half an hour ago, someone just messaged me, hey, I'm walking into the town tomorrow if you want to come with me. So like things like that could be happening. And that's just one example. Also, I want to start exploring more of Montenegro, since the first month, like I've said before, has been a bit more internal and, back to basics. And I think I'm getting ready to like want to explore. And then literally as soon as I said that, I went out. I opened my door, and was I sweeping? I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something, and I opened the door, and there was just someone standing there, and I was like, oh, hello. I never saw her before. She like must have just checked in. She's like, do you have the Wi-Fi? Like, I guess she was about to knock on someone's door, but I would like, it was so funny. We just like looked at each other. And then someone else came, and then we all started talking about going exploring together. And it was like right after I set that intention. So yeah, things like that could be like speeding up. Those are just a few examples, of course. I think I'm going to leave this one here. There are undercurrents. That's another transmission that I recorded recently, so there could be something in there, messages. But these undercurrents are like really starting to show themselves, and yeah, it's exciting. So